Let's go. We are back. I am back. Welcome back to the Brotherhood Breakdown. I am your host, Jamal, one half of the Professional Amateurs podcast. But as you know, we're not on that today. Today, we talking about our beloved Blue Devils, y'all. And we had a little litmus test the other day. Today is October I be forgetting the dates. 24th. Just had the first exhibition game against University of Central Florida in the Brotherhood run, manned by former Duke great Johnny Dawkins. On Monday, I think it was the Monday or Tuesday, either whatever day it was, October 21st, and Duke handled them pretty easily, 96-71. Now, I had intentions on coming on and recording this show directly after the game, but family got the family in, life got the life in. Y'all know how that go. Nevertheless, I'm here now, and it's a good thing. I was telling my guy that I do the professional amateurs podcast with Courtney. I was telling him earlier, like it's actually a good thing that it kind of got delayed because it switched my complete focus on what I wanted to discuss with everybody today. I mean, of course, I'm gonna go over like some of the things with the game, but I'm a Duke junkie, y'all. So when Duke plays, I'm a comment diver. I'm diving in everybody's comment. I'm reading all the comments. I'm trying to get a feel for what the fan base is feeling like, just to see if everybody is on the same page as me. Like, are y'all seeing what I'm seeing? And one of the things that I realized that when I was kind of like looking through from the interactions that people had with me, the interactions that I saw other people have on other platforms, is that we're not over 25. Like flat out, bro. It's just like almost the entire fan base is still hung over from what happened at the end of last season. And we're gonna kind of discuss that by way of what happened against UCF because it was some good things. I saw some good things. It was some things that I saw that I can understand why people would kind of just be like, you see, but we're gonna discuss all of that. So let's start with the top. I'll bring up the score sheet because I hadn't really looked at it until recently. Because I'm not a big stats guy, but the official stat sheet, as I said, Duke ended up winning the game 96-71. But everybody's enamored. Like I said, we're gonna start with the good. The best thing I wanted to start with, or the thing I wanted to start with that stood out. Okay, let's just address the elephant in the room. Cameron Boozer is a monster. Like we all have our different types of like, okay, I guess expectations on what each Duke great because even if you watch them play like 40 times in high school like me, or if you've never watched them play in high school at all, like some of the Duke fans probably have been, or like haven't watched them play, we all have different types of expectations, but the same expectations. We all expect greatness, but we don't know how you gonna get there. And it's interesting to see guys step up another level that's been dominant in high school. And the thing that jumped off the page for Cam with me was how much of a grown man he looked actually playing against grown men. Okay, UCF is picked bottom half of the Big 12. They're a power conference team, so I don't want to act like we just beat a nobody, but they aren't like the upper echelon of the Big 12. I'm not even sure who's picked to win the Big 12. Texas Tech, I'm sure it's got to be Texas Tech. I'm not sure. I'm not even really. I haven't even focused on the landscape of college basketball as a whole yet. I'm gonna wait until probably December to dive into everybody. But off the top of the head, I'm assuming it's Texas Tech. Which we would do. We'll play them. So UCF may not be on their level, but one thing UCF has is length, size, and experience. A couple of those guys been in school 5-6 years. Like older guys, man, and he just made these older guys look like he was the kid. Like he was the eight, or like they were the 18-year-old and he was the grown man. And it was the other way around. Like he was a man amongst boys, even though he was the boy amongst men. Like that I love from Cameron Boozer because one thing that you kind of worry about when you wearing like when you enter in a new age, when you got these high profile freshmen, is with the physicality affect them. Everybody's bigger, stronger, faster, better, tougher, all of that in high school. All of these guys were the men, but when you reach a different level, the physicality goes up another level, and he answered that. So I love to see that. Now the stat sheet. I wanted to put the stat sheet up because I want to preface everything I'm about to say with this really doesn't matter. The stat sheet, that is, like, I, certain things on the stat sheet matter, but the main thing that a lot of people are focusing on, which I realized this and listen to the comments and figuring out that this is why a lot of people are still hung up on 25. First of all, let me go ahead and say this. Let me get this stat sheet out the way real quick, and then I'll bring this back up if need be. Okay, I want everybody to understand this. Duke fans. And I'm not just like calling out Duke fans and singling a specific group, because I have to remind myself of this. I had to remind myself this at about the 9-8 minute mark, about the 9-minute mark of that UCF game. I want everyone to understand this. 2025 is over, y'all. As bad as it feels, as hard as it is for us to move on, we have to move on. We cannot unlose that loss. I swear I wish we could. I've tried. I played out a bunch of scenarios in my head, like Emmanuel. Maybe Emmanuel Sharp misses that 3. Or maybe they call that flagrant foul for Sion and we get 2 in the ball. Or maybe they don't call that flagrant foul on Mason Gillis or something. Like, it's just, all these scenarios I played out, we cannot unlose that loss. It's over. It is over, y'all. It sucks. We got to move forward. With that being said, do not project what 2025 didn't do and what you were hoping for them to not do on 2026. This is a completely different team. I'm going to give you an example. I kind of want to see 2026 get blown out. I actually kind of want to see it because I want to see the level of panic that's going to be on a lot of these Dukes fans. Like, do you know the level of panic people are going to have, bro? Like, can you imagine what the comments are going to look like if, let's say, this Duke team rolls out against Florida, same in the SEC, ACC challenge, same as we did with Auburn last year, high profile matchup, and Florida wins by 19 on Cameron floor. The amount of people that it's gonna be like, it's over, we can't win it, and it's just the amount of negativity that's gonna come from that is gonna be overwhelming. But in the grand scheme of things, that is overcomable. I watched 2025 get smacked a couple times. Not 2025, I'm sorry, y'all. 2015. I keep referring back to 2015 on this show because that's the last level. That's the bar. That's the last thing we've seen as far as like a team reaching the pinnacle. I'm gonna refer to another great Duke team in this episode as well. But in 2025 specifically, 2015 specifically, I remember that team got blown out by Miami, kind of got blown out by NC State. I think Notre Dame blew them out too. Then they ended up coming back and beating the brakes off Notre Dame. But that was the biggest thing for me, is that 2015 team, every time they had an adversity spot, they reacted to that challenge the way I really wanted them to. It was favorable. They responded. Like I said, Notre Dame beat them, I think it was about 10 or 15. It was double figures. They came back and beat them about, I think, 42 or something like that. NC State ended up blowing them out. Like, and we saw that stuff happen to that team, and we saw what it looked like. We saw how bad it was as far as like them being able to guard. Because some of y'all Duke fans got short-term memory. You know, it's really hard. We see a lot of great teams, and it's hard to like, it's easy to forget actually that some of these teams take lumps on their way to greatness. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just happened. Like, I don't know. And some of y'all fans that hung up on 25, like, I be having to remind myself this too. I'm old enough, bro, to remember 99. Okay. Let me repeat that. I'm old enough to remember the 1999 Duke team, the 1998, 1999 Duke team, and how great that team was. For those of y'all that's younger, or for some of y'all fans that have selective memory, or you might just have forgotten, let me put this in perspective to let y'all know it's going to be all right. As bad as 25 was, Imagine if your season went like this. Let me drink my water on this. Hold on. That 1998-1999 team went 37-2. They lost 2 games. Let me find out real quick exactly how many, because I don't want to be irresponsible on these airwaves. I want to be as accurate with the information. I know it was 2 losses. I'm just trying to get the actual number of games we won. Hold on, y'all. I'm having yeah, I was right. 37-2. They won 37 games. Okay, that's not. Okay, you win 37 games, you lose 2. You like, oh my god, that's a bad season. That's not what's like traumatic about that season. And this is why I'm saying, Duke fans, some of y'all that was old enough for this, y'all know we got through this, y'all. This is what was traumatic about that 98-99 season. That team won 37 games, lost 2. The first game that team lost was the 6th game of the season. I will never forget that. I stayed up late watching the game. It was in the Great Alaskan Shootout, I believe. That's what it was. We lost to Cincinnati. Melvin Levitt on like a backdoor cut. They lost on a dunk, like almost like at the buzzer, like a game-winning dunk. That's how we lost. The 6th game of the season. You heard I said that team lost 2 games. They lost the 6th game of the season. The very next time that team lost was in the national championship game by 3 points. Imagine that, bro. How like literally still to this day, best winning percentage in ACC history from going 16-0. They kept up in it. I think the Carolina team in 87 had went 14-0 before then. It was a couple of teams that went undefeated, but nobody up until that point had won that many games. That's when they were going. It was 8 teams, and it was playing everybody 2 times. It was 16-game season. First team in ACC history to reach that 16-0 mark, and it has not been done since then. Complete undefeated ACC season. That's how dominant that team was, man. And lost the national championship game, the most heartbreaking loss of my life. I will never get over that. I will never get over that. It hurt, but you have to move forward. The very next year, the team was just as good. I think they lost the first 2 games that year. They lost the first 2 games back to back, and then lost 2 more games the rest of the season. They lost 1 more regular season game, and then didn't lose again until the Sweet 16, the Mike Miller and them. But they got over the hump. That same group eventually won the national championship. So it's bad, y'all. Like, I mean, I get it. 25 was bad. That hurts to be that close. I literally had my frame of mind like I'm one of those Duke fans. Like, I wear the same thing every game. Like, I think I affect the game that way. So I had to go to work. I can vividly remember during that Houston game, like, all right, this game is over. Taking my game clothes off, starting to put my work clothes on because I'm thinking the game was in the bag. And then when it started to unravel, I'm thinking I'm the reason why it's unraveling. I'm hurrying up, taking my work clothes off, trying to put my game clothes back on. Like, it sucked, bro. It sucked. But we got to get over that because this team can't undo what that team didn't do, bro. Like, they can't undo that wrong. It's over with. So we got to accept this team for what they are, which is a very, very talented offensive team. I want y'all to realize that this team scored 96 points in a game where they have not practiced offense. They was just winging it. They scored 96 points winging it. Also 96 points shooting only 40, I think it was like 43% from the. Let me see if they got it on the stat sheet. I want to be responsible now. My old man eyes. What they shoot from the floor? 43? Thought it was 43 as a team. 30 for 70. That's like 40. Bad at math, y'all. But yeah, around 40%. So I was close. They didn't really shoot it that well. Hit 12 threes. A lot of that came early on because they was 3-point happy in that first half. I don't know what was going on. I liked it until I didn't like it. And I didn't like it when they stopped, when the shot started to not fall. Like, once they started missing, I was like, yeah, I really don't understand. You could tell Shire let them know that because they made a concerted effort in the second half to get the ball to Cameron. And like I said, Cameron played like a man amongst boys. Okay, now why I got this stat sheet up. On the theme of leave 25 in the past, except 26 for who they are. I want everybody to understand, like, because I saw a lot of the discourse around Caleb Foster and him only having 3 points. Okay. One of my biggest pet peeves in basketball is when people determine the quality of game that you play individually solely based off how many points you scored. It drives me so crazy, bro. It drives me so crazy because the amount of like comments that I saw from Duke fans all over like all social media platforms, yo, about like trashing Caleb Foster, like proclaiming that he had a bad game because he had 3 points, blew my mind. Because I'm like, okay, did y'all watch the game? Did y'all see any of the other impacts that he had? The fact that he rebounded at elite, this entire team rebounded at elite level. We had multiple guys with more than 5. Let's look at it right here. Cam had 12 rebounds. Pat had 7. Caleb Foster had 7, which I was saying he rebounded at elite level, especially for a guard. Isaiah Evans had 7. Nick Kaminya. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Nick Kaminya had 8. Yeah, I'm about to say I know that one 3. Yeah, Isaiah Evans had 3. I apologize. So I will say I knew Nick had more than 8 because Nick was amazing. Nick was the second best player on the floor to me, but I'm gonna get to him in a little bit. But the thing I want people to focus on with Caleb Foster, he rebounded the ball well, he defended well, but I'm not sure. Like, zoom in on this if y'all got to, as far as what you need to focus on. Caleb Foster played 25 minutes, essentially, somewhere around there. Had 0 turnovers. 0. That is it. That's all that matters, guys. Now, if he can hit that catch and shoot 3 at a higher clip, of course, we want him to be more than 1 for 6 from the field. But I'm not concerned with Caleb giving us large scoring outbursts. This team scored 91 points, y'all. Like, and he had 3 points. What do y'all want? Like, I mean, we're not even running sets right now. Like, literally, they're just, and which for them to be able to make some of the plays they made, like Nick made great plays, Cam made tremendous plays. Just for them to be able to make some of the plays that they made for each other without actually running legitimate sets is amazing. And it just goes to show that's a testament to these guys' IQ and the level that they on as far as thinking the game of basketball. Because that's really hard to do, to look that good offensively and not practice it. That's gonna go over a lot. Like a lot of people, that's gonna get swept under the rug. A lot of people don't really understand how difficult that is, what they are doing right now. And like, as far as John has been vocal about what he's teaching right now is defense, which that's one of the things. Let me take this stat sheet off. The defense at times, which I was guilty of this, and this is why I had to reel myself in. Like, Ma, this is not last year. When I saw switching lapses that I never saw last year, I'm talking about we never had switching lapses. Not at one point. I was at the very first preseason game. I watched that one in person. There was never switching. And that team was just, they was just so connected on the defensive end. Like, and this team had switching lapses that you just kind of forget that last year was an aberration. What happened against UCF is normal. That's what you're supposed to have in a game where you are not, you're down your 2 best defenders. A, B, we're learning different concepts. A lot of these guys have probably never been in this type of defensive system, and this is their very first time being in it live against anybody. They hadn't played anybody but themselves for months. So we did see a couple of late switches. Overall, I was pleased with the defense, though. I see the flashes of this team, and that, like I said, I was kind of concerned with that particular end of the floor, and that being the reason why Duke would not win the national championship is the defense. And I still think that if Duke does not end up winning the national championship this season, it'll be because of lapses on the defensive end. I don't think offense will be this team's problem at all, and they kind of proved it in that UCF game. But the defensive lapses, they didn't really concern me. I was up. I mean, of course, you're gonna be like, "Come on, man, I'll get it together." Like, you know what I mean? You yelling at the TV screen, and Cameron Boozer, I got this clip, made a play because UCF Duke started out on fire, cooled off, which is a normal basketball thing to do. You know, you start hot, and basketball is a game of runs, and it's a rhythm sport, so it goes up and down like a pendulum all the time. So Duke started out on fire. UCF played like veterans, weathered that storm, played like guys have seen deficits like this before, and they fought off. They made a run, and I think cut it to like 2 at one point in the first half. Where I'm talking about the moment where I think, okay, this guy got us. Cameron Boozer made probably the best play of the entire game, and it was the play, honestly, to me, that completely changed the trajectory of the game, because it was at a time when, like I said, Duke was reeling. Cam Boozer came in and made this dive. It was a dive and stop. It was the dive and rebound. First of all, the way he pursues the basketball is elite. That's a crazy skill to have, to be like that high motor, pursuing the basketball offensively, like on the offensive glass as well as the defensive glass. But on the offensive glass, that is going to win us a championship. Word to Zubac. Like, you know what I mean? Word to Lance Thomas. That 2010 team, that's the reason why we won that national championship, because literally every time the ball came off the rim, one of those guys got it, and we got a better look at it. It was a kick out to Shire, or a kick out to Singler, a kick out to Smith right after that. And then, like, you know, but the way he pursued this basketball, and hold on, let me bring it up. All right. I'm going to bring it from the top, because look at this. The shot goes up. He pursues it. And not only does he pursue it, but he seeks out Darren. He turns to look. I'm going to replay it. It wasn't just a wild throw, bro. He hunted this basketball down, turned to Darren, and said, I got you. Lay. Steadied the ship. As you can see, the score was 20-18 then. They was making a run. UCF was making a run. Got that and one. And then I was like, okay. Effort energy plays. Okay. Which I knew he does. Like, that's part of what he does. But like you said, when you have to see it on this level, everything is different on as you go up a level. And just to be able to see that against grown men, like I said, salute the Cameron Boozer, man. I love that. That team, that particular game right there could have went a completely different way. I love the fact that that team came out that hot, got punched in the mouth, and after plays like that we just saw from Cameron Boozer, they steadied the ship and showed their dominance. They didn't let that, because these are kids, y'all. They playing with the weight of 25 too. That's why I want some of the fans to like just let it go. Please do not keep bringing this stuff up. We all know what happened. A couple of them guys was on that team. They know what happened. They playing with that weight. They know the expectations are through the roof because of that. You know what I'm saying? So they could have easily took that punch in the mouth from UCF and fold it and let all of that matriculate into mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. I'm gonna bring the stat sheet up one more time. This team didn't play. They're rarely practicing offense. I just want y'all to be aware of that. As far as complete turnovers, that team had 8 turnovers. 8. That's elite, bro. 8 turnovers is not elite, really. But I'm talking about, put it in perspective, y'all. Like, walk with me now. Put it in perspective as far as thinking about this team is not really practicing offense. It's going to be hard to take care of the ball when you don't really know what you're doing with the basketball like that. So they did it. They took care of the basketball. So I just love that. I love that they took the punch from UCF and fought back and turned this game into a blowout like it kind of should have been. But them weathering that storm was important for me to see, specifically as a fan. And honestly, for me, like I said, I had to talk to myself about this. That seeing them do that, I don't really care like how the season go, because I know they're gonna lose more games than 25 did, because the 25 team had, I mean, yes, they were dominant, but it was a perfect storm. It was their dominance mixed with true lack of competition for the majority part of that schedule. Let's just be honest about it. And this team won't have that. They're gonna have, the landscape of college basketball is just completely different, specifically in the ACC. So this team just, it'll be a little different. It'll be a little bit more challenging. But the fact that I saw them be able to get punched, because that was, like I said, I think that was the detriment last year. That team was so dominant, they never really got truly punched. And when they did, they didn't know how to handle it. This team is going to get punched over and over and over and over and over and over. And they showed me that they know how to handle it. Now it's levels. I'm gonna be honest. They handled it against UCF. Can you handle that against a Louisville? Can you handle that against Texas Tech? Can you handle that against a team like NC State? We got to go to Raleigh, y'all. I'm from Raleigh, and it burns my soul that I never want to buy a ticket to go see Duke when they come to NC State because we always lose in Raleigh. I don't know what it is about playing NC State in Raleigh, but we always lose. Can y'all handle that punch when we in Raleigh and Darion Williams, who is a potential player of the year candidate, ACC, he was already picked the preseason ACC player of the year. When he's on a heater, he throwing haymaker after haymaker, and we in a 10-point hole. Can y'all weather that storm? I want to see that, and I think this team is going to be better positioned to weather those storms, bro. And that's what it's all about, y'all. Embrace the ugliness that this season is going to bring because this team is good enough to withstand it. I want everybody to leave 25 alone. It hurt. We're going to breathe it on out before November 3rd get here because once November 3rd get here, it's done for. It's done for. We can't bring it back. This team got a lot to look forward to. I love what I saw from this team against UCF. I will be extremely locked in to watch them going against a for sure lottery pick. And they amen. Regardless of how you feel about him, I watch them play in person. I get it. Tools are there. I'm just not really sold on him as being like a high impact guy. You can be a highly talented guy, but not a highly impactful guy on a basketball court. And my questions are about him and what his impact will be on the next level. That's it. So he is extremely talented. 6'10" guy and can handle it. Sure, he can do everything literally on the court. Extremely talented. So I'm excited to see that matchup against Tennessee. I think they had Chaz Lanier too, if I'm not mistaken. I ain't even really looked at their roster. I ain't gonna cap y'all down. I am not gonna cap y'all down. I don't know what they done did I know that Nate is there, and I'll probably take a deep dive sometime because tomorrow and get an idea of what they actually got going on. But I'm excited to see how they respond against actual NBA competition because I don't think UCF has as good as Jordan Burke looked in a 4-minute stretch. That was it. That came and went, as y'all see. Second half, he didn't really do. I think everything he scored was in the first half. He lit it up first half. He got hot on one of them heaters, like I said, and that could have turned. We've all seen that before. Those guys come in. I've been waiting to play in Cameron all my life, and you get on that type of heater, and the whole team ride that wave, and Duke mess around and lose that game because some guy had the time of his life, and this is all he gonna ever be able to tell his grandkids about what he did in his basketball career. I came into Cameron Indoor Stadium and had 25 points against Duke, and we beat them. But they took that punch, and they ain't let that happen. That was big, y'all. That was big, y'all. I know it hurt. But we got to let 25 go. So I ain't going to talk y'all head off. It ain't really too much to go down on. No, I'm lying. One more time. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know the rotations. I know Dami Sarr is coming back. I know Malik Brown is coming back. But John Shire, if you or anybody that knows you can get hold of this, find a way to get Nick Hemenia on the floor, man. That's it. I'm going to leave y'all on that. Nick Hemenia was amazing in all aspects. And then I had a guy that had pointed something out to me on y'all can follow the Brotherhood Breakdown on TikTok. He had pointed this out that Nick was really good on defense, and he had pointed out the fact that he wasn't shocked by it because he watched in Cameron. He paid close attention to Nick guarding Cameron Boozer and Countdown to Craziness, and he held his own, and that stood out. I was like, yeah, you right. I was like, that definitely stood out to me. I'm like, Nick is really guarding Cam Boozer and guarding well. So Nick is already showing me that he can guard up. He's all right within the team. I know he'll be able to guard 1s through 3s with no problem. Like he's long enough and athletic enough to do that. But now I know that he can guard. Like the sky's the limit for that kid. We gotta get him on the floor. Got to get him on the floor, John. I don't know how we're gonna do it. Minutes, it ain't up to so many minutes for everybody, but that kid needs them. So I'm gonna close on that, y'all. I want to thank y'all for locking in. One more time, y'all can follow the socials. Brotherhood Breakdown on everything: Instagram, TikTok, Also, y'all can follow the professional amateurs. Right now, this show is as far as the links to access this show, you will have to access it through the professional amateurs, my professional amateurs podcast YouTube channel. That will be changing this weekend, and I will be releasing that information via TikTok more than likely. But it'll be an like, so you will be able to access. I will have my own separate channel for this particular show, just so I can keep the traffic flowing easy. It's out because I'm doing everything on my own, y'all, and I'm just trying to make it easy for myself. But follow those socials, and also you can follow the professional amateurs. Follow those socials as well. Pro Am Pod on TikTok, Professional Amateurs Podcast on Instagram, where we discuss not just all NBA, but basketball in general. But one more time, thank everybody for all the support that y'all have been giving me, and I will be coming at y'all next time. I'm more than likely going to do a post game on Sunday after the Tennessee game. If it's not Sunday, it will be directly the Monday after that. But and more than it will be Sunday because I got to do something for PA on Monday. So I'll be coming at y'all with a post game after the Tennessee game. So until next time, let's go do.